If you were one of those who underestimated the Dogman movie after its huge success, you probably had to eat your words.
Whoa, Squidward, you're joking!
Let me tell you, even though Dogman is a low-budget hero and still a hero without powers, he managed to destroy any Marvel movie. How did he do it without spending billions of dollars? Is that even possible? Yes, my friends, so today let's see what makes Dogman so good. Let's start by saying that Dogman became one of the best movies, even though it only had a few dollars to be produced and didn't even have a marketing campaign with an ad in every tab you open. It only had a single miserable trailer. One, not even two. But what really makes Dogman stand out isn't just its victory. DreamWorks came to show Disney that money alone doesn't make a movie great. Instead, they just needed to put in effort, have authenticity, a fresh sense of humor, and a clear message without all the nonsense. This movie proved that you can be better than the rest, even when the odds are against you. And to show that DreamWorks doesn't just mess around, they gave us a hero with no superpowers. A hero with no superpowers? Incredible! So, let's talk about Dogman, the main character who isn't even remotely trying to be some kind of dog Superman. Dogman is no Tony Stark or Thor. He doesn't have a futuristic suit or summon lightning from the sky. Instead, he's a mix between a dog and a human, with a personality as imperfect as the movie's budget. And what makes him so special? The fact that instead of being an unattainable model of perfection, he's a character who, despite all his mistakes and flaws, still chooses to do what's right. Dogman isn't the typical hero we've always seen, and that's precisely what makes him a star. Dogman takes a radical detour and breaks the rules like the good boy he is, proving that you don't need to be perfect to have a great hero. He's even better than the so-called greats. And with that, Dogman throws a knockout punch to everyone, proving that he doesn't have to be the strongest or the fastest, he just has to be the kindest. Plus, let's not forget that this entire Dogman movie is an adaptation of the comics into an animated film. And it's not just a simple kids cartoon. This masterpiece is something the whole family can enjoy. First off, they didn't even bother to add filler just to make it fit today's trends, something this Smurfs movie clearly didn't take into account. Throughout the story, it doesn't just focus on creating a single adventure. Instead, it tells multiple stories and how each character develops. For example, they show Dogman's first adventures and how Petey the Cat's evil plans started unfolding. By the way, this villain has become one of the fan favorites. And let's be honest, many people bought their tickets just to enjoy this character. And if one Petey the Cat was already a great idea, of course, two Peteys would be an even bigger success. Of course, they had to make some changes so the story would make sense and everyone would understand what the movie is about. But even though Lil Petey appeared much later in the comics, adding him to the first movie was a brilliant idea. And one of the best things? They didn't try to change or force anything about Dogman's personality. He's still half dog, half human, and he still keeps some dog-like traits. But none of that stops him from growing as a character or even forming a strong bond with Lil Petey. But now, let's talk about Petey the villain. As I said earlier, Petey works as a comedic element in the movie. And trust me, his jokes will make you laugh no matter how old you are. And he does all of this without needing to make a TikTok account or beg people to follow him on Instagram, unlike a certain blue character. One thing we definitely have to appreciate is that this movie stays true to the comics, and yet the story is still easy to understand from start to finish. The film proved that a solid script and well-built characters can defeat any empire of special effects. While other movies like Minions: The Rise of Gru or Lightyear tried to push outdated beliefs with billions of dollars, Dogman just focused on doing its job, telling a story that actually mattered. The most impressive thing about Dogman is how it surpassed some of the biggest movies of the year, even with the massive disadvantage of a budget that would be considered laughable compared to other franchises. Take Minions: The Rise of Gru for example. With its $80 million budget, it thought that all it needed was to throw the minions into absurd situations, and the money would roll in magically. Or Lightyear, which despite being part of the beloved Toy Story franchise, ended up being nothing more than a joke. Dogman, on the other hand, didn't rely on already known characters or cheap remakes. It surpassed both movies where it actually counts: authenticity. Dogman shut down the film industry by proving that money isn't everything. Despite its low budget and minimal marketing, this movie managed to capture what many big productions have forgotten. What truly matters is how the story unfolds, the authenticity of the characters, and the ability to connect with the audience without forcing anything. You don't need a massive budget to create something incredible. And if Dogman taught us anything, is that even with only $40 million, you wouldn't even notice any flaws in the animation. Honestly, it's amazing how they adapted a book and a comic series to the big screen without losing its special touch. Because imagine how ridiculous it would have been if they had started forcing their irrelevant ideas into it. Like,
"That's because I'm non-binary. Calling me a she or a he doesn't feel right to me."
come on, no! Do kids even care about that? Is that something adults can even enjoy? All this nonsense just gives us a headache. And trust me, even if there's never a Dogman 2, this movie and everything it gave us leaves us with a sense of satisfaction. Because honestly, it would be awful if DreamWorks tried to remake something that already is a masterpiece. If you're not a big Dogman fan, you can at least be sure that Petey the Cat is the highlight of the movie. But if you already know about Dogman, you're gonna love the entire movie. Let's hope Dogman continues to get the success it deserves, and doesn't just end up being popular because of memes. But let's be real, Dogman didn't just win because it was different, it won because it actually had soul. While other studios keep pumping out soulless cash grabbers, Dogman had a creative team that actually cared, and that care is what made this movie feel so fresh, so fun, and so worth watching. Another thing that makes Dogman stand out, it's how it respects its source material. Instead of butchering the original comics to fit some corporate agenda, it stayed true to what made the book special in the first place. No unnecessary modernizations, no forced trends, just a fun, well-crafted story that anyone can enjoy, from kids to adults. And let's talk about the humor. Unlike other movies that try way too hard to be funny and end up cringe, Dogman delivers actual comedy. Petey the Cat steals the show with his chaotic energy, and the interactions between him and Dogman are pure gold. Seriously, who knew a movie about a half dog, half human would be better than half the blockbusters Hollywood puts out? But for now, we stay calm, and if you haven't seen Dogman yet, don't miss your chance. But what do you think about the Dogman movie? Do you agree it's a masterpiece? Drop your thoughts in the comments.